If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. You are not going to believe what just went down in Cleveland. Joe Flacco. Yes, Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, the man who practically saved the Browns season last year, has just been traded in what's being described as a secret negotiation. Fans are stunned, the league is buzzing, and insiders are scrambling to find out what really happened behind the scenes. The Browns, after bringing Flacco in from the sidelines of retirement and riding his veteran arm to the playoffs, have apparently decided to cash in, and they did it without any of the usual fanfare. No leaks, no rumors, just a sudden jolt to the NFL landscape, and we're here to unpack everything, the what, the why, and what this means for both the Browns and Flacco. Moving forward. Strap in, this one's wild. Now let's rewind the tape just a bit. Last season, Joe Flacco was lounging on his couch, unsigned, watching football like the rest of us. Deshaun Watson went down, and the Browns were in desperate need of stability. They turned to Flacco, who hadn't started a game in a while, and what did he do? He balled out. The man turned back the clock and played some of the best football we'd seen from him in years. He became a fan favorite overnight, led the team into the playoffs, and earned himself not just a contract, but the starting job going into the off-season. So to hear now that he's been moved, and secretly, no less, is sending shockwaves through the Dawg Pound. Sources close to the organization say this deal was cooking quietly for weeks. Executives kept it under tight wraps, operating in near silence to avoid tipping off the media or rival G-Miz. The trade apparently came from a team with a sudden quarterback need, and they were willing to offer a haul that even Flacco's biggest fans would have trouble turning down. We don't have all the trade details yet, but it's being described as substantial, likely draft picks, and maybe even a player or two. What's clear is that Cleveland's front office made a calculated decision. Whether that was wise or foolish, only time will tell, but right now, the optics are chaotic. You let the guy walk out who just saved your season. And let's not forget what Flacco himself said just weeks ago. He made it clear he felt he had more left in the tank. He wanted to play. He wasn't just hanging around to be a backup or a mentor. He wanted to start. And with the Browns still unsure about Deshaun Watson's long-term health, you'd think they'd want that insurance policy, but maybe that's the whole point. Maybe Flacco didn't want to be the backup again. Maybe he pushed for a move. Or maybe, just maybe, the Browns already know something about Watson's recovery that the rest of us don't. If he's healthy, they may have felt it was time to part ways with the aging star before he loses his trade value. Now let's talk about the team that landed Flacco. Rumors are swirling. Some say it's the Raiders, who've had quarterback issues brewing all off-season. Others suggest it's the Vikings, quietly seeking a steady veteran presence while they figure out life after Cousins. Still others are pointing to the Patriots, who may not be sold on any of their young QBs. Whoever made the move clearly saw in Flacco what Cleveland saw last December. A guy who can still sling it, who doesn't panic, and who brings playoff swagger and leadership into any locker room. One thing's for sure, wherever he's headed, that fan base just got an instant upgrade at QB. Meanwhile, Browns fans are left scratching their heads. This isn't just about a trade, it's about identity, it's about loyalty, it's about culture. Joe Flacco became a symbol of hope during one of the darkest stretches of last season. He wasn't just a quarterback, he was the quarterback, calm, composed, unshakable. To see him moved in silence, without so much as a press conference or farewell post, stings. Some fans are furious, others are resigned. But everyone agrees, this changes the narrative for the Browns in a huge way. They're doubling down on Deshaun Watson now, no safety net in sight. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season, and from the front office's perspective, the gamble is massive. If Watson stays healthy and plays like the guy they gave up a fortune for, this move makes sense. If not, if he falters or gets hurt again, they just let their most dependable quarterback walk out the door for picks and prospects. We've seen this story before, haven't we? Teams betting everything on one guy, only to have the whole thing blow up in their faces. The Browns have been on that list more times than they'd care to admit. This could either be the moment they prove they've evolved, or the moment they fall right back into old habits. But let's give credit where it's due. Flacco earned this. He proved every doubter wrong. He stepped into chaos and made order. He took a team on life support and brought them to the postseason. He reminded the football world and himself that he's not done, and now he gets one more shot, one more chapter in what's already been a legendary career. Whether it's as a bridge quarterback or a surprise playoff hero again, you know he'll be ready. And you can bet he'll use this Browns exit as fuel. The man thrives on being underestimated. Whoever landed him just made a playoff push feel a lot more real. So what's next for Cleveland? Expect a lot of questions from the media, from fans, and maybe even from players in the locker room. Trust has to be rebuilt. Leadership has to step up. If Watson falters even slightly, the pressure will be overwhelming. And if whoever they got in return doesn't pan out, this deal will haunt them. But if they hit, if Watson returns to form and they draft a few studs from the FLACCO trade package, well, then this might just go down as one of the gutsiest, smartest moves in team history for now. Though it's pure speculation and second-guessing. At the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and sometimes that means making cold, calculated decisions. Joe Flacco's time in Cleveland was short, but it was unforgettable. His legacy with the Browns may not have lasted long in terms of games played, but in terms of impact, it's undeniable. He gave them belief, he gave them purpose, and in the process, he reminded the league why he's a champion. Now he's off to a new home, and we'll be watching closely to see what comes next. And you better believe, when we find out exactly where he's going and what Cleveland got in return, we'll be right back here breaking it all down. Until then, stay tuned, stay hyped. And as always, don't sleep on Joe Flacco. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan. Hit subscribe and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!